Hello, and welcome to this lesson of Big Data University. In this lesson, we'll look at indirect batch analysis of big data. My name is Ben Connors. I'm the worldwide head of alliances for JasperSoft. JasperSoft is a Big Data University partner. In today's lesson, we'll look at an introduction to indirect batch analysis. We'll talk about why indirect batch analysis is important. We'll discuss guidelines to help you choose when indirect batch analysis is the appropriate approach. We'll discuss indirect batch analysis of data stored in Hadoop. And finally, we'll see a demo of indirect batch analysis of big data content, followed by a hands-on lab for you to practice your newly acquired skills. As you recall, indirect batch analysis, among the three approaches, provides the highest latency access to big data. In other words, it requires the longest time between when the data is actually populated into the big data source to begin with and when it's available for analysis. So let's talk about an introduction. First of all, what is indirect batch analysis? It's an approach that provides reporting and analysis to spot trends in the data, whether they're simple or highly complex, and patterns in an organization's historical, multi-structured, and quite often disparate big data sources. So what are some of the characteristics? It often answers questions that can best be characterized as slice and dice type of questions. That's to say, where the manager or the analyst wants to see the data from a variety of views and perspectives and angles and dimensions. It's typically used with historical data where the timeliness of the information is not as important as seeing the information in the big picture, in the broad scheme of things. Who are some of the target users? Often the users are people like data analysts and operational managers, who might want to look at the data from this variety of perspectives. Some typical scenarios where indirect batch analysis is used might be, for example, a need to analyze patterns to resolve shopping cart abandonment problems for an e-commerce vendor. Another example could be analysis of large volumes of environmental data in order to provide better understanding of how water quality impacts fisheries and predicting hazardous locations, etc., in a locality. Or perhaps in a healthcare environment where it could provide the ability to provide clinicians with greater insights into moment-by-moment conditions of patients, enabling them to better detect subtle warning signs or complications and hopefully intervene for the patient's better health. So why is it important? Because indirect batch analysis helps to discover trends and patterns that can lead to insights and better decisions. It provides a simple representation of multidimensional analysis of historical data, and it helps to analyze a 360-degree view of some of the impacts that business decisions can have across disparate sources. Some of the guidelines to choose indirect batch analysis as an approach are when you need to discover, as an example, seasonal trends and patterns or year-to-year trends and patterns. Multi-dimensional slice and dice analysis of historical data in order to answer a variety of questions, a variety of creative insights. Or a need for data virtualization to analyze big data sets from multiple disparate sources. So the indirect batch analysis of big data has a somewhat more complicated architecture where the batch analysis and reporting on the big data sources can often come from disparate data sources, including both relational and Hadoop or other non-relational sources. So to do this, typically an ETL job loads data from different sources You then define an OLAP schema mapping logical facts and dimensions onto the physical database. Then you create an OLAP client connection that includes the schema and a database connection. You then define the OLAP views, and an OLAP engine along with a BI platform lets you analyze this data multidimensionally. Let's take a look at a demo of indirect batch analysis of big data, after which you'll have a hands-on lab to practice what you've learned. Thanks for your attention.